So I'm very happy to be talking to you again because my home almost burnt down about a week ago. I live sort of in a big condo building, and there is a condo construction site next door, which is about, I don't know, 70 to 80% finished. And it on the Monday, a week from tomorrow, because today's Sunday when I'm shooting this, it almost burnt to the ground. A couple propane tanks exploded. Some surrounding townhouses were set on fire as well. It was pretty huge. It was all over the news here in Langley, BC. And while we were watching everything burn, it seemed to be, we were displaced for about 24 hours and weren't allowed back in our home. We thought there was a good possibility that it might go up in flames too. A lot of the smoke and the ash were falling over the top of our building, and literally it's about 25 feet between us and the burning construction site. So, but hey, it's all good. I got my family out as well as my pets too. We're all safe and sound, a little stressed, but I'm back in the studio talking to you, and I'm so happy about that. So let's jump into it, shall we? Talk about Fantasy Hockey Thoughts Week 15, April 26th to May 2nd. Woo! We're almost there. My league just finished today, but I know there's a couple leagues will continue going for the next week, and maybe even the week after that as well. So this might be the last video. There might be one more. For fantasy hockey, I'll continue to push out other hockey-related videos about news and lists and players and etc. and teams, all that kind of fun stuff. But let's jump into it for this week. There's 53 games. Thursday and Saturday are the heavy days. Monday and Tuesday there's 8 games. Wednesday 7, Thursday 9, Friday 5. Saturday there's 15 games, and Sunday there's just 1. Isn't that weird? Stay away from depth ads from the Columbus Blue Jackets. Not like I needed to tell you that in the first place, because they haven't been playing well of late, except for maybe against Tampa on Sunday, even though they lost in overtime. They're only playing 2 games this coming week. The following teams are playing 4 times, and you want to look for depth ads from these teams especially. I'm talking about Vancouver, Tampa Bay, St. Louis, San Jose, Montreal, LA, Florida, Edmonton, Dallas, Colorado, Carolina, Arizona, and Anaheim. Now, of those teams playing 4 times, take extra special care because on these, the next 3 teams, because Florida, the Panthers, they're playing Nashville and Chicago twice. Although Nashville's been playing better of late, they're fighting for a playoff spot. So look into those players from those teams. Colorado is playing St. Louis and Vegas once apiece. St. Louis is fighting for a playoff spot. And they're playing San Jose twice. There's that. And then finally, Carolina, the Hurricanes, they're playing Dallas twice, who are fighting for a playoff spot. And then they play Detroit and Columbus once apiece, although Detroit hasn't looked too shabby of late either. Now, let's start with the positional depth ads and begin with the goaltending. Braden Holtby has won his last 3 starts, ladies and gentlemen, ever since the Canucks came back from the COVID-19 outbreak there. Grab him. Jake Allen. Price is injured, although my asterisk here is that Montreal has been kind of sucky lately. Spencer Knight from the Florida Panthers. I don't know if he'll get another start. Wait till the day of to see who, on left wing lock, for example, who plays, who's confirmed. But if he gets in there, grab him. Ditto somewhat for Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen for the Buffalo Sabres. He won his first game against Boston 6-4. I would look for him to get at least a couple more starts moving on from here. Jeremy Swayman. I thought this might be the last we see of him this season because Halak was coming off his COVID protocol there, but he's still playing. And he's won 5 in his last 6. I believe he lost on Sunday today against Pittsburgh 1-0, and he still owns a .943 save percentage. So, yeah, consider him. Cal Peterson, although the LA Kings haven't been great of late, he still owns a .917 save percentage. And LA will be playing Anaheim 4 times this week. Dustin Tokarski, pretty sure I'm saying that correctly. Up until maybe the last couple of games, he's been doing well since the trade deadline too for Buffalo. So you may want to keep an eye on that guy. Let's talk about defensemen now. Starting with, this list is short as usual, but Jacob Slavin from the Carolina Hurricanes. He's a decent option, as is Nate Smith from the Vancouver Canucks. Rasmus Sundin is kind of like your sneaky depth add here because Zach Bogosian from the Leafs is injured. And he's out for at least for the rest of the regular season. So Sandin's playing on that bottom pairing next to Dermott on the left side. And they have him quarterbacking the second power play. However, he's been moonlighting on the first power play of late because the Leafs power play, if you haven't been paying attention, has stuck big bags for the past like 2-3 months now. And he's just in his 2 games back, Sandin, I want to say he's looked terrific. He's looked amazing. And he's got, like, I want to say 2 assists in 5 games that he has played so far this season. But look for him to be in there all the way through the rest of the regular season. Matt Gritslick is currently healthy, and he's back on the #1 power play for the Boston Bruins. Travis Sanheim, if you're a little desperate there, he's kind of hot and cold guy. And then there's Mike Matheson as well for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He could be an option. Let me know if there's any other defensemen who you've grabbed of late who are nice little depth adds. I know Mackenzie Weegar was injured for a couple of games, but he's back and in a big way too. So if he's available, of course, grab him. Let's talk about some forwards here. This list is long. Starting with Steven Lorenz. Who? Yes, that's what I said. Who? He's from the Carolina Hurricanes. He's actually played 36 games for them too in the bottom 6. But now, guess what? He's playing on the top line. And in his last 5 games, he's got a goal, 2 assists, 2 penalty minutes, 8 shots, and he hits at least 1.5 times per game, give or take. So you may want to take a peek at him. Niels Höglander for the Canucks, although he's been cold the last couple of games. In his last 5, he's got 3 goals and 1 assist. Tanner Pearson, also from Vancouver. In his last 4 games, he's got 3 goals and 10 shots on net. Tyler Mott, he's only played Vancouver's last game. He hasn't been back with the whole group since COVID, which is now, I want to say, 4 games in. But he's always a decent pickup. He's very physical. He's usually, in hits leagues. He's great. He also puts up occasional points. And in his first game back, he had 1 assist and 3 hits. Moving on. A couple players who are coming back from injury, possibly from anywhere between mid and late this coming week, might be Malkin and Sagan from Pittsburgh and from Dallas. So keep an eye on those 2 characters. Nick Foligno of the now Toronto Maple Leafs. He's playing with Matthews and Marner. I probably don't even need to say more about that, but in his last 2 games, he's got 2 apples and a bunch of hits in both games. So, yeah, he's a good ad. Andrei Burakovsky, because Rantanen is out with injury and he's on the top line. In his last 2 games, he's got 2 goals, 2 apples. So, yeah. Who else here? Jaden Schwartz. It kind of hurts me to say his name almost every week because he's so streaky. Like it's like every 4 or 5 games he'll score 2 goals and then he'll disappear again. But I mean, it's not like he can't score against good teams either, because he had 2 against Colorado and 2 against Minnesota in the last 10 or 9 games, I want to say. So yeah, so think about him. Darius Garyanov, he's been playing well of late for Dallas. Anthony Beauvillier, in his last 3 games, has 2 goals and 3 assists for the Islanders. Sam Bennett and Anthony Duclair are playing with Huberdeau, and they're reaping the benefits. In his last 5 games, Bennett's got 3 goals, 3 assists, 16 shots. Yeah, Anthony Duclair in his last 7 games, 2 goals, 7 assists. Wow. Jared McCann, he continues to do a good job and is on that first power play unit. Maybe that will change when Malkin comes back. Keep an eye on that. But he's on that second line with Carter and Zucker. In his last 27 games, he's got 21 points. Matthias Janmark for the Vegas Golden Knights has been bumped up from the third to the second line now, and he's now on the first power play too. So you want to grab him. Jesse Popardi is gelling even more and more with McDavid these days. In his last 5 games, he's got 4 goals and 1 assist. Josh Norris for the Ottawa Senators. Holy yowzes. In his last 6 games, 2 goals, 6 assists. Sam Reinhart, that's right, of the Buffalo Sabres, folks. In his last 9 games, 8 goals and 2 assists. Joel Eriksson-Ek, in his last 5 games, got 2 goals and 3 assists. Nick Bonino, that's right, Bonino. In his last 7 games, has 3 goals and 8 assists. Wow. Jacob Verana, of course, playing with Detroit now. He can be a decent add, as well as Brandon Saad. Those guys are a little hot and cold, but ditto with Casey Middlestad of the Sabres. David Krejci has been playing really well lately for Boston. Greg Smith, not so much, but he's never a bad add either. Smith is back on that second line with Krejci and Hull. Jeff Carter, of course, has been doing well of late with Pittsburgh. Nico Hershiser from the Devils. He's a little hot and cold, but ever since he came back from his injury, he's been putting up better numbers, though. Yegor Sharangovich, if I said that correctly, is playing the first line with the Devils, and Hershiser as well, and he's on the second power play unit. In his last 6 games, he's got 2 goals, 4 assists. Colin Blackwell for the Rangers. Yeah, I know he's been really cold in the last 4 games or so, but he's still playing with Stone and Panarin on that second line, and he's on the second power play unit, so it's an option. Carl Soderberg has been bumped up because of injuries in Colorado. He's on the second line with Kadri now. Dylan Cousins has been playing pretty decently for Buffalo ever since the trade deadline, and that's it. I've got a couple of players in my drop category here, and that's Halak, because of the reason I mentioned before. Swayman's continues to play well and play, really. So, and Logan Couture, yeah, for the San Jose Sharks, he's got 1 point in his last 8 games. Ouch. Maybe think about dropping him too. You got desperate measures now, and if they're streaky players are definitely an option as well. You know, it's do or die in fantasy hockey, so you got to do what you got to do. I dropped McDavid because Edmonton only played 2 games this past week, and he had no other games after Wednesday. So what's the point, right? Drop the players if they're not playing much. You got to do what you got to do. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I'm trying to get a Discord account set up soon, too. Look out for that. Yeah, please be kind to each other in this crazy world we live in. Thank you to all the first responders who put out the fire next door to my building and kept our home safe. They risked their lives, and all the people, the volunteers as well, who helped us out with, food, clothing, place to stay, all that kind of stuff. Thank you so much. And yeah, be kind to each other, folks, and I'll see you soon.